Hi guys, and welcome to your daily tarot reading for Wednesday, the 29th of June 2022. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to use the Trip and Wait Tarot for today's reading, which is like a bit of a weird take on the original Rider-Waite deck. I'm just going to show you some of the cards so you have an idea of what's coming at you in a moment. So you see, instead of the regular tarot, we have little mermaids. So just like a psychedelic version of the regular tarot, which I find really interesting because, as you guys probably know by now, I really like bright colors. They cheer me up a lot. He's cute. I like him. That's adorable. Love that. Okay, so let's see what the cards have to say about Wednesday and what energy you'll be working with. I hope you're having a great week so far. Hope all your hopes and dreams are being realized and that you're in a good space. Let's see what the cards want you to know here. Have a little look-see. Okay, first card is right in the middle. The Fool. Okay, sometimes we need the Fool to make a fresh start and to overcome our own fears and doubts and worries. Then we have the Seven of Wands. Okay, so usually this is about stamina and resilience and pushing forward. But in combination with the Fool, you may be a little bit stubborn. And you may say, I want this even if it's bad for me. Or even if I know it's not going to work out. I'm going to waste my energy and just keep going. So the message is evaluate what you're doing and whether it actually does have the potential for a good outcome or whether you are wasting your time. And then finally, you have Temperance, which encourages you to take a more balanced approach and to kind of detox and to think again and to look for a more enlightened path. Okay, so that's kind of interesting because now the cards are saying to me that you may be pushing something just because you want it, even though it may not be useful or it may not be something that's actually good for you. It's just a sense of stubbornness and saying, I'm not taking this. Just because, especially if you say, I can't do this, I'm going to definitely do it just to spite you. But the cards are then saying, you know, you're kind of cutting off your own nose just to spite your face. It's not something that's actually helpful. So rather than getting into it like that and saying, oh, I'm going to react and make sure that I don't give you what I want, take a moment, kind of look at all the lovely rainbows and all the calm and peace and quiet that is accessible to you at this point in your life. And I feel it's going to be much more helpful to then just let go. Okay, this person said, I can't do this. So instead of kind of rebelling and doing the opposite just to prove them wrong, maybe I'll just accept that and pursue something that I enjoy. That's another option. So that often for us, especially if we are stubborn or if we decide to rebel or we don't like authority figures and we're like, okay, I'm going to show you, I'm going to do the exact opposite, then it takes a little bit of self-discipline to change that kind of direction, but it's going to work out much more in your favor. Okay, so the Fool is a major arcana card. It's the first card in the major arcana. It's the number 0. You know, they always say if you read a guidebook that the Fool can come first or last because it is 0. We do start with the Magician as number 1, but I've never actually found a deck, and I've got quite a few decks, where the Fool comes at the end. I've never seen that. So I always say the Fool is the first card in the major arcana. And the 0 is very interesting to me because it's a full circle and it's the completion of a cycle and the beginning of a new cycle at the same time. So it exists in two states at once. And the Fool then says this is the moment before you start anything new. It's that spark of energy or that idea that simply appears that says, hey, it's time to start again, or it's time to close something off. It's this moment of something is going to change here. I can feel it in my bones. And it's down to me to kind of look into this, and it's an opportunity for a new beginning. So we've got this young man, he's got his like lunch provisions on this little stick. That's not going to last long, okay? I mean, if he's leaving home and if he's moving and he's just walking there with his little dog who's already looking a bit skinny in this deck, then that's pretty foolish just to not prepare very much. He's holding this red rose, so he feels this passionately something has shifted in my life, and if I look around, then there will be a new opportunity, which is the gift of the Fool. Like I said a moment ago, is the key thing is if we realize that some sort of cycle is completed, then we realize, wow, something new obviously is going to start up in its place, because nature does not like a vacuum. It doesn't have vacuums. It always fills things with either something new or a different direction becomes apparent. Now, he's also staring at the sky, so he's dreaming about this amazing new future that he can have, but he's about to walk off a cliff. So the great thing about him is that he has this intuition that says something is shifting here and I'm going to ride that wave. What he's not so good at is working out the practical details, the earthy stuff, and to say, okay, this is how I'm actually going to go about it. So the thing to take from him is the enthusiasm. The thing to deliberately insert into your life is a willingness to do your homework, to do your research, and to say, well, if I want to make this new thing happen, then I've actually got to know a little bit of what's involved. I can't just, walk off cliffs here and hope for the best, because I will land at the bottom and I won't be that thrilled. So that's something that the cards are saying. If you want to make changes, please go with that and embrace it, but also at the same time do your homework and see how it potentially can be done. Then the Seven of Wands, this is a minor arcana card, so it's a temporary influence, and it's in the suit of Wands, which is fire, life, purpose, and passion. And that's this what's the word? This tendency to say, I'm gonna do this no matter what. It's like being a dog with a bone. I don't care if the world says I can't enter here. There's a big do not enter sign. I'm gonna enter anyway because it's me and I want to open this door and see what's behind it. So it's a tendency to be very unaccepting of what you're being told, and that is a requirement, again, that we often need in life. If you want to publish a book and you send it to a couple of publishers and they all say no thank you, then here's the word, it's this dogged determination to say, well, I wrote this book and I am going to publish it, even if Penguin doesn't want it or if HarperCollins doesn't want it. I'm going to find a publisher who will publish this. And we need that drive and that unwillingness to compromise sometimes to get things done. And that's what the Seven of Wands is all about. It's also the seventh card in this suit, so it's about the mind and creativity. So you see things a certain way that may not align with the rest of the world, and usually then it gives you permission or a sense of confidence that I'm going to push through no matter what. In this case, I feel it's being misused. Because if you're so dogged, let's say I'm going to walk around in the mountains and I'm very passionate about exploring these mountains, and I'm also very passionate about ignoring the cliffs. And other people are saying, hey, be careful. If you don't watch out, you're going to fall off one of these cliffs. And you're like, I'm not interested in that, okay? I know what I'm doing, or I don't care if I know what I'm doing. I'm going to go walk around here, regardless of what you guys are saying. Then sooner or later, you'll fall off a cliff. So the point here is to be willing to listen and not to dig your heels in just out of principles. And in this case, it's interesting because we've got this beehive here, and the bees, they're huge and they're buzzing around. He's very close to that. And if you get too close to a beehive, you're going to get stung. So your persistence and your self-reliance may actually get you into more trouble. The better option is to back off a bit and to be willing to learn and to find an alternative that it doesn't feel so difficult and that seems a bit more sensible. And the way to do that is not necessarily to force yourself to listen to people you don't want to listen to, but at least to listen to your higher self and to let that guide you, because your higher self doesn't want you to fall off a cliff either. And usually this is an angel who's dipping her toe in the water, and in most decks, a path then appears that leads to a place of enlightenment. So the message is, let your higher self guide you. That will balance you out, and that will take these dogged, stubborn feelings away from you and will give you a much greater sense of contentment and peace. It'll also give you an appreciation for beauty and all the good things you've got in your life. The enthusiasm doesn't go away, but it means you're just approaching it from a much healthier kind of perspective. And then we've got this pond here, her dipping the toes in. She allows you to detox some of the negative emotions. So by having a word with your higher self, by saying a little prayer, or by meditating, or just getting in touch with a sense of contentment within yourself and saying, okay, let me just decompress here for a moment. That's all you need to do to let go of these difficult emotions, and then you're not going to gallop into a situation which is actually super problematic for you. You'll you might trot into it, or you might walk into it, but then it's much easier to turn around and to say, okay, this is unlikely to work. I'm going to back off here and do something different. So use the enthusiasm to your advantage, but pick your options and choose the option that one, motivates you, but two, seems very sensible when you apply common sense to it, and you're like, okay, this actually could work out in a real life sense. And the preparation at the beginning of the day, I think, is just to take a deep breath and to say, I'm going to connect with my higher self here, and I'm going to let that guide me as well. And I'm going to be willing to implement the guidance that I receive. And I'm not just fueled by self-will or rebellion. I'm going to do something that feels good and positive regardless of whether I have permission or not, or whatever it may be. So number-wise, we've got 0 and 7, and then 7 and 14. Oh, so if I divide the 14, that's 7 and 7, right? So it's 7, 7, 7. And 7 in numerology is the mind and creativity. So get creative with your path. Look for another route through. It'll work better. But to me, 7, 7, 7 is also super lucky. So by not forcing yourself, but by deliberately choosing a different way forward, you may land in a situation which is much luckier than the actual first thing that you contemplated and that you were so willful about. So be open-minded and be willing to look at other options. They're likely to work out better. But then 14 and 7 is 21, 2 and 1 is 3, and 3 is about communication and new beginnings. So we're back to the Fool, the enthusiasm to start something new. So that's absolutely there. But then just that willingness to be more flexible and adaptable is going to serve you very, very well on this day. So don't chomp down on something and never let go. Be willing to try something else. Okay, so that's what I get for Wednesday. I hope you have a fabulous day. If you'd like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. On the front page, click on Book Your Reading to order your reading with me. And in my personal readings, I use astrology, the tarot, and numerology. The way I combine the numbers with the cards, I combine all three in my personal readings. If you have a question about your path through life, or your spiritual awareness or spiritual development, or what could come next, or moving, or career change, or anything at all, really, relationships, health, finance, if you have any questions, please do get in touch with me for a personal reading. And then if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, please. Share the video online and hit subscribe. But also, I just want to mention something. I have been doing live tarot readings on the channel lately. And if you click subscribe, but there's a little bell next to it, the notification bell, if you turn that on as well, like if there's a line through it, click on it so that it's on, then when I go live, you'll be notified, and you can catch the lives. If you've been trying to catch me on one of those, I haven't scheduled them in yet. I'm not sure, because I really like doing those spontaneously. They're really fun. But I think I may schedule one in future, but I haven't done that yet. So in the meantime, if you click on the bell to notify you when I do go live, then obviously you have a much better chance of catching it if you want to join. So that's an option that Robin actually mentioned that to me, that's an option that would help with that. So hit the bell, have a wonderful day. Check out some of my other videos, the weekly horoscopes, the videos on the new moons and the full moons. We're still in the period actually of this new moon in Cancer that we've got going on. So if you want to know a little bit more about that, check out that video. Have a fabulous day, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.